Can we talk about Raw Legends Night for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that.
So it started with a cold open
Mm-hmm.
with Hulk Hogan telling you how a phone works.
Mm-hmm.
Whose idea was that?
Vince, of course.
I have a feeling that Vince knows how to use a phone.
Vince may think that us smarks don't know how to use a phone.
He certainly doesn't know how to use social media
Yeah.
because he would hear all the crap that we're giving him.
Right. And what gets me is for such a good stretch of time, like late 80s, early 90s, such good stuff. And then mid 90s, kind of fallen apart, then remolded through like going into the Attitude Era and gave us amazing stuff for 10 years. Kind of petered off in the late 2000s, then early 2010, 12,
John Cena
13,
comes in.
Cena, and then just the the roster that was built through NXT,
Yeah.
just the Wyatt family, the Shield, just all these guys. I can't mention them all these ladies that just amazing wrestlers. And at this point, it feels like it was all just squandered.
Yeah, I think um, Ali said it best. I don't know the exact quote,
Yes, yes,
but he said something to the effect of, "Hey, you know what? You guys paved the road for us. When are you going to let us walk on it?"
yes. Now, my only objection to that was, dude, it's 1 week out of the year that it was Legends Night. Like, chill. But I get what he's saying.
Goldberg. That's all I got to say.
Right. So I get that on Goldberg, but I took it more when he said it that they had a night about legends. But as far as on the Goldberg angle of it, yeah, absolutely. He needs out of town.
Yeah, and there were legends that were promoted to be there that
Mm-hmm.
weren't, like Carlito.
Yep.
I
Yep.
was excited to see Carlito.
So was I. He
Now,
was one of my favorite wrestlers at a time.
now, granted, um, a guy whose gimmick is spitting apple into somebody else's face probably not the best idea during a pandemic.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but just to see him there holding an apple and going, "That's not cool."
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Or having a container of applesauce and just dump it on someone. WWE creative, come on.
Well, when Bobby Lashley he was dumped that milk over that random dude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He, when he was dumping it, got all over his suit.
Yes.
And then the next segment, he's going like this,
Yeah.
brushing it off. That was pretty funny.
It was.
Ric Flair, I actually, other than the one little point where I'm trying to figure out whether it was supposed to happen or not.
Mm-hmm.
Where he tripped Charlotte Flair,
Yes.
and there's a lot of reports saying that that was supposed to be Peyton Royce.
Yeah, I had heard that it was supposed to be Peyton Royce.
I don't know how much I believe that, especially now.
Yeah.
But backstage, whenever Randy Orton was going around and
Mm-hmm.
threatening old people, um, I tried to keep a straight face. I couldn't do
Yeah,
it.
you can't.
um, he walks up to Ric Flair, and Ric Flair's just got this glaring grin on his face, like he forgot what he was doing or what he
Yeah.
was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And then Randy Orton starts talking, and his face kind of changes. You can tell it was like, oh shit.
Camera's on.
But that was actually a good. Whenever he was talking, he's like, "Listen, I did this for you." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, that's the Ric Flair I want.
Right. Yeah.
But Randy Orton again, just walking around backstage, threatening old people. He's like, "I'm gonna go show them why I'm called the Legend Killer."
Yep.
And then he just talks to them.
Yep.
Sure. Sure.
Yep. It's just reassurance that he's the Legend Killer, I guess. More amazing WWE creative.
Yes. And then the end of the show, where Goldberg comes out, and Drew McIntyre has been nothing but, nice with all the legends all night.
Yeah.
He even posed with Hulk Hogan. You could see on his face that he was reluctant about it.
Right.
He was like, he was not happy about it.
Right. Yeah.
But then Goldberg comes out and he's like, "You give no respect to all the legends." And we're like,
what?
I'm pretty sure he's giving respect to all the legends all night. Were you not paying attention, or did you hit your head on the lockers too hard?
Yep. I think that's what happened. It's probably how he gets out of his car too. Headbutts it, gets out.
Just a little crack in the windshield.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pushes him over, and then straight cuts off Raw.
Yeah.
It went too long, and USA was like, "Oh, too bad."
Yep.
Because
they should have cut away as soon as Goldberg's music hit. I would have appreciated that much more.
I mean, honestly, they are unsurprisingly upset with WWE right now.
Right.
Not only because their Raw ratings are bad, but also because NXT ratings are bad. And the only reason why NXT ratings are bad is because they're head-to-head with AEW.
Yep. And AEW is the golden child right now. They are doing everything right, or 95% of everything right.
They have more faithful followers.
Yes.
Whereas there's been a lot of historical stuff going on right now in the news. And those people that are watching NXT is not as important.
Right.
Because, I mean, they don't advertise anything.
Right.
There were 2 matches that were advertised this week for NXT.
Right. And all that plays into fantasy wrestling as well. Like we have mentioned here and there, is when you don't put out a card ahead of time, you can't do fantasy wrestling.
Right. And they do the same thing with NXT UK, Raw, SmackDown. Like, why are people going to want to watch your show if you don't advertise what's going to be on it?
Right.
Sure, you can add some extra stuff in there to reward those people who did show up. But give them a card.
Right.
At least 4 matches. There were 6 matches on NXT on Wednesday. And the 2 that they announced weren't even one of the biggest matches on
right.
The
I feel like the 3/4 of a card should always be announced. And if there's matches that aren't announced, they should be like the opening matches for the night. Has always kind of been my opinion or feeling it.
Yeah, I would go maybe 1 match, maybe 2, but for the most part, 1 match is fine to not announce. But the rest of it should be announced. I mean, why am I going to watch it if I don't know what's going to be on it?
Right.
And the only reason why I watch it is because of the fantasy stuff. Because I'm not excited about NXT. Unless I hear about Rhea Ripley going to be there, then I'm definitely excited about
Right, yeah. And like I said, I watch anything AEW start to finish. NXT, maybe I'll skim over a match because it's something I'm not interested in. Raw and SmackDown, I'm probably fast forwarding through 50% of it at least.
I usually don't even watch it. I'm sitting here playing Minecraft, and I got it on in the background.
Well, my background noise is if I don't get to watch Impact live, that's usually my background noise on like Wednesday or Thursday while I'm trying to play catch up. And then I'll follow up on like matches. I never get to watch New Japan anything live, but like I'll find somewhere where I can watch the match, a few days, week later, and then
Yeah.
like piece together the events or the
Well,
pay-per-views.
I know if it wasn't on at like 3 o'clock in the morning, it'd be okay.
Right.
Um, Wrestle Kingdom has my sleep schedule all screwed up. I'm going to bed at like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning now.
And I'm just getting up at 6:15.
Right.
Yeah.
I get out of bed and maybe about between 1 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hmm.
Now, granted, it wasn't that much different before
Right.
Wrestle
Yeah.
Kingdom, but um, it had me real screwed up there for a little while. Uh, and I think that was part of the reason why I fell asleep through Dynamite
Oh yeah.
that the
Yeah.
elite at the end.
All right.
All
So
right.
what do we want to go to next? We've only got a few left.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I see two left, plus our number one spots.
yeah. So I see feel good moment, holy shit
Oh,
moment,
three.
and cinematic match of the year.
Yep. I think we should do all the rest of them.
Okay. All right. So I will start with the holy shit moments. And I've got two of them. One that like made me go back to like 7, 8 year old Drayven is Sting showing up in AEW. For me, Sting was my Hulk Hogan. Like I loved Hulk Hogan when I first got into wrestling, him and Junkyard Dog. But then like I don't know what it was, but like I didn't take to Hogan like most other kids still did. I got quickly drawn into Sting. So it's the face paint, the colors, being loud, screaming, the move
Yeah.
set.
It was also kind of your age group too.
Yeah,
Had you been maybe about 10 years older, then you'd probably be more into the Hulk Hogan.
yeah. So it was just all the colors. I mean, I always trying to paint my face like Sting as a kid. Like, oh, I got leftover Halloween makeup. I'm Sting for the next week. And I felt like a kid, like the goosebumps when he showed up in AEW, even though I know he's probably not going to wrestle. He probably shouldn't wrestle.
No.
Just showing up and being part of something that I routinely watch again. I now have three of my four top favorite wrestlers of all time currently in AEW. So we've got Sting, Moxley, and we've got Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
They did have Bret Hart deliver a championship. So they have all had my top four wrestlers of all time at some point. Um, so that just gave me goosebumps having like three of my four guys like involved or the potential to be involved weekly, which was just awesome. Now, for a completely different reason, the holy shit moment that kind of shook all of us that were watching it was at All Out when Sammy and Matt fell.
Yeah.
And Matt hit hard. Like that match should have stopped, done.
Yeah.
And
That it shouldn't. I can understand um, going on at least a little bit further than it did to begin with.
yeah,
Whenever Matt got back up, like he was originally cleared, but as soon as he fell down that second time, that match should have been done.
yes, yes.
Um,
Because there's nothing wrong with saying a match can't continue. There's nothing wrong with that
no,
when it
especially
comes to
after
an
that.
injury.
Yeah.
Like something like that. Like, okay, you break a finger and you need to end the match. You knock a tooth out. Oh, but you think you can finish? That's one thing.
Yeah.
When you hit your head and neck that hard from that high, that match is done immediately.
Yeah.
We had done the live stream and we're watching that, and we were just left speechless. Like, oh my God, did we just watch Matt Hardy become crippled? Like, is he all right? Is he like, what's going on? So,
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't tell if it was meant that way or not. Like
right.
we saw Aubrey Edwards throw at the X,
Yeah.
but then they restarted the match, and we're like, is this real?
Right. Like, are they like,
Are they trying
you
to
know,
work us? Because that's not a
right.
good way to try to work us.
Right. To work us is one thing, but to do it, when we all know the X is a bad sign, and then you pull that into it. Yeah, that was just a really awkward night. So yeah.
Yeah, that was one of mine. Also, was
Okay.
was that one. Um, Another one was Kenny Omega taking the AEW Championship to Impact.
Yep.
And then I've got another one here from.
Yeah, I figured that one was going to be on your list, so I was going to have three, and I was like, no, that's probably the Professor's number one.
So Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
Um, During the women's Survivor Series match,
Mm-hmm.
that I said, no, I got Lana. I got Lana being the sole survivor, and you started dying laughing, and I took a sip of my Mountain Dew,
Yep.
and you were like, man, you need to lay off of that green sludge.
Yeah.
And then like
It's
5 minutes
affecting your
later,
judgment.
and then 5 minutes later, Lana ends up as the
Yeah.
sole survivor, and I'm laughing now.
Yeah, you're laughing.
You're speechless.
I was frustrated. Like, WWE, this is why I fast forward most of your stuff.
So my second, my third rather, was me handing you my Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
that was one of my, I think that was one of my best headlocks and promos moments.
Yeah, it was by far, because I didn't know whether to get sick, quit, like what. Like, I was just lost. Like, they seriously just let Lana be a sole survivor.
and then
Like,
and then she got
2020 is not real.
and then as soon as Charlotte comes back, she gets kicked to the curb.
Yep. Bye-bye.
All right, so feel good moment. It's just there's two of them here.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is just because of the historical uh, implications. It's Tessa Blanchard won the Impact World Championship.
Yep.
That was at Hard to Kill last year.
Yep.
And now tomorrow is Hard to Kill.
Mm-hmm.
And then she done messed herself up.
Yes, she did.
But I think the by far feel good moment of the year was the Brody Lee tribute show.
Yeah. I was on the fence about the tribute show because of the timing. I couldn't remember, and I didn't bother to Google it.
It was the 31st, actually.
Was it the
Or
31st?
no,
Okay.
the 30th.
Okay. So I wasn't quite sure to include that, and then I had came across something else that, even though we all love Brody Lee, we love hearing the stories, we love just all this stuff that we're hearing that we would probably not hear if he died an old man. So we're all enjoying that. We all cried, laughed, and enjoyed that night. But for me, the feel good moment, and don't take this the wrong way, anyone that's listening, is Shad Gaspard. He died saving his kid. So if there's any way that any of us could ever go, and it's just not strictly like in our sleep, is saving someone's life. And to be able to save your son's life and lose yours is like the ultimate sacrifice. So as I tried to come up with, feel good moments as matches, once I started looking at some of our old scripts and came up the one that we essentially did after the loss of him and Animal, I started thinking about it, was like, man, that's like the ultimate sacrifice. There's no more like feel good. Like, yeah, we lost a great dude, his family and
it's
friends.
not like the ultimate sacrifice. That is the ultimate
Yeah.
sacrifice.
So it's not feeling good to their family, but to know that some man gave up his life to save his kid, it just makes you feel good in humanity. So I'm not saying that it feels good that he died. It's he's a good damn dude.
Sure, sure. Well, I mean, it's kind of the same way with the Brody Lee situation
Yeah.
too. Like the show was awesome. The tributes that they did was awesome. It's unfortunate that they had to do it in the first place.
Yes.
All right, so this next part here is was probably my favorite thing to go through.
Yes.
The cinematic matches of the year. I did five. I don't know how
Okay.
many you did.
I did 4.
Okay.
I had about another half dozen, but I kind of
Oh,
settled like these 4 were up and beyond the other one. So I only went with these 4.
I actually have six.
Okay.
All right, so I'll start.
Yes.
All right, so the number six I have at Money in the Bank, the climb the corporate ladder match.
Yep.
I laughed my butt off through that whole thing.
It was good. It
And
was
the
good.
fact that Alistair Black and Rey Mysterio got thrown off the roof, but it's okay. There was a smaller roof underneath that other roof that they
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
And then AJ Styles bumbles the Money in the briefcase and it goes straight into Otis's hands. Asuka taking the elevator and still somehow everybody catches up to her. I don't know
Yeah.
how.
Yeah.
Uh,
it was
it
a
was
nice
so dumb,
comedic
but
relief. Yes.
it was so dumb, but it was so funny all at the same time. Um, and the same way with the next one, the Elite Deletion
Yep.
against Sammy Guevara. And then with Hurricane coming in and he gets put into the lake of reincarnation, he comes out.
Yes.
Shane Helms. And then Sammy Guevara, Sammy Guevara getting hit in the butt like 3 times with fireworks.
Yes. That was great.
And then get thrown into the trash can. And then there was so much stupid stuff going on in that match. They're like,
There was that was
Private Party was sitting in a truck and they're just watching. And
yeah.
like, oh, maybe we should get out there and help him. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Matt Hardy's in there getting his butt kicked by Proud and Powerful and Sammy Guevara, and they're just sitting there listening to music.
Yeah.
Number 4, I have as the One Final Beat. I don't know if you know what that is or not.
I do not.
That is the Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano match.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
That happened this year.
Okay.
2020.
Okay.
Where Candice LeRae came in and kicked Johnny Gargano in the nuts, but he was wearing a cup.
Yep.
And then she turns around and kicks Tommaso Ciampa in the nuts, but he was not wearing a cup. That was when Johnny Gargano turned heel.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What about you? You do 4 and 3 for us.
Okay. So my number 4 is the Elite Deletion, which you've already touched on.
Mm-hmm.
I played with the idea of it moving it up, but there's reasons that my number 2 and number 3 are where they are at. So Elite Deletion is number 4. Number 3 was the Boneyard match with The Undertaker. He's always been larger than life. I seen him as a kid when he was like 2 years into his gimmick. Scared the holy hell out of me. Like, I loved it, but it scared me. It gave me chills.
Well,
So
I
to
kind
give
of
him,
equate that to what Abaddon is doing now. Abaddon creeps the heck out of me.
yeah, a lot of people. I show my wife like, hey, look at her makeup, and she's like, turn that off. Yeah.
I don't like horror movies. Just
Oh, we love them, but still, for my wife, it's like she's too much.
reminds me of The Ring.
Yes, yes. So for the Undertaker to go out in this big cinematic match, this dude put up 30 years with WWE. The dude was larger than life. He lived his character. So to put him out in just like this total like short movie was awesome. I loved it. I know a lot of people loved it, but a lot of people hated it. I greatly enjoyed it because it worked with probably what his skill set is now, and you didn't have to worry about him getting hurt. Like I think it was it Brock Lesnar when he got the concussion and didn't remember the match?
Oh, it was just that match against Goldberg
Yeah.
at
So
Super Showdown
yeah,
in
so
Saudi Arabia, whatever pay per view it was, it doesn't matter. But the Undertaker versus Goldberg, that match
that
should
was
not have happened.
yeah, that one after I did not watch it because I had found out before I even got home to watch it that they I can remember I think it was maybe that I seen the images of, and I'm like, I'm not watching it. I refuse
It
to
was
watch it.
bad. It was
And then the
bad.
same thing happened with Goldberg again in the Fiend. I seen they put the belt on the Fiend, or took the
That
belt
one
off the
wasn't
Fiend and put
great.
it on
That was the
Goldberg.
worst jackhammer in history that was
Yeah.
ever
So
actually.
I seen that one. So like Saudi Arabia doesn't have a good record with me. I find out things before I get home from work and I don't even watch them. But I digress. So we go from the Undertaker Boneyard match with AJ. I greatly enjoyed it. Did you want me to do my number 3?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, that was your number three. We were right.
Oh yeah, my math's wrong. I'm
So
down to my last two. Yes.
yeah. So let me go with my number three and my number two.
Okay.
My number three is actually the same as yours. This is a Boneyard match.
Okay.
Um, don't really have to touch too much more on that, other than
Right.
the
Yeah.
fact that it was against AJ Styles,
Right. Yeah.
and then he killed Gallows and Anderson, and then they showed up on Impact.
Yeah.
Um, the number two, the Firefly Funhouse match. That wasn't even a match. It was just Bray Wyatt making fun of John Cena and WWE's booking of him.
Yes.
It was, for those who understood, it was amazing.
Yes, it was absolutely amazing.
For those who did not understand, on the other hand, they were confused.
Yes.
They didn't know what the heck was going on,
Right.
but it was okay.
Yes.
Like, I found it funny, but other people would look at it and go, what the hell did I just watch?
I thought it was hilarious. It was my second favorite match at WrestleMania 36, and it wasn't even a match.
That was my favorite by far. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair was number two on for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That might have changed if Rhea Ripley would have won.
Yeah,
Which she should have. All right,
Uh,
number one.
I gotta do my number two. Number two, then number one.
Yep.
My number two, same as yours, Bray and Cena.
I feel like we're gonna have the same number one also.
You probably. This is at the so this was early in the pandemic, working from home. We're just starting to adapt to this new world we're living in. So much uncertainty. Dealing with the empty arena, kind of feeling frustrated with how some of the matches went. And then we get this. And like you alluded to, Thomas, if you know, you know. And I knew, so I found it absolutely hilarious. Right. I loved it. I laughed my butt off. And thank you, WWE, for this match, because I laughed my butt off. I needed to laugh. And This was that for
Can you imagine how it was for me? I was high off of my ass.
me. True.
Like, so I was confused and laughing my ass off. So
And the nurses are probably, they're like, "Are you okay? Do we need to pull you off your meds?" Okay, so number one,
Number one,
AEW.
AEW.
Does it have anything to do with the parking lot?
No.
No. Whoa. Parking
what...
lot brawl for me.
Yeah, that was Proud
So
and
we got
Powerful against the Best Friends.
Yes. So we got Trent and Chuck Taylor versus Santana and Ortiz. Ah.
No.
Wow.
Santana needs to die.
He does. So
no, she does. Santina.
Yes. Yeah.
Santina.
So this was just an amazing match. Just for like weekly television to boot. Like this was a pay-per-view quality match. And it was on weekly TV.
Probably be a good thing if you could talk too.
Yeah, it probably would. Television. TV.
Television.
It's that French coming out.
That would be Italian.
But I'm not Italian. Okay, so I thought it was a great match. Just like they used every vehicle. They freaking slammed hoods on people, breaking windows, breaking off mirrors, just smashing each other through windshield. After the match, you're looking at these guys and you're like, how are any of them even walking? None of these guys should be walking. They put on an excellent match. Yeah, it's not cinematic.
Yeah, that's what I wrestled with putting it. I would have put it on this list if I had considered it more of a cinematic match.
Yeah,
but
so I struggled with it.
It was weird too, but I understand why I put it on there.
Yeah, so I did as well. And then when I thought about like it wasn't in the ring, it was kind of different, something we probably won't ever see for a long while. And it was just an amazing fight. Like it wasn't wrestling, it was a fight. And it was very entertaining. And then they leave in the van. Mom gives them the bird, like driving away. Like the next day, social media is split. Like they're like, that was hilarious, or oh my god, that was so stupid. What was the purpose of that? It's like
Sue driving off in the van, flipping the bird was the icing on the cake.
It was like it brings you back to where storytelling, because you just saw this violent fight where you're wondering if these guys can even walk. And now she loads up the van with her boy and his best friend and gets ready to drive off. Extends the arm, and as soon as you see the brakes start hitting, you're like, what's going to happen? You see the arm come out the window, and you're like, oh boy. You see the bird, and you go.
As soon as I saw the brake lights, I knew what was going to happen. I just started laughing, man.
I didn't know. I was uncertain what was going to happen until I saw the arm come up in the window, and then I'm like, I know what's going on. And it was gold. It was a great laugh.
After that match, you kind of needed it.
Yes. Yeah. It was kind of like that laugh, bring you back down to earth, and it's just pro wrestling. These guys are well trained, and good night's sleep, and they'll be ready to go the next day.
Right.
So now I'm interested. What is your number one?
My number one, I contemplated putting it as my number one match of the year.
Okay.
Just because of how entertained I was watching this.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Double or Nothing. The Stadium Stampede.
Yes.
There were so many spots in that
Yes.
match where I was crying because
Mm-hmm.
I was laughing so hard. Matt Hardy coming in and getting dunked into the pool, and every time he comes back out of the pool, he's a different gimmick.
Yes.
And then the commentary is like, "Oh, that must be water from the lake of reincarnation."
Yes.
And then Nick Jackson suplexing Sammy Guevara the entire length of the field, and
Yes.
then and then Rick Knox saying touchdown.
Yes.
And Nick Jackson starts celebrating, then they throw the flag for excessive celebration.
Yes. So that was actually in my group of like 6. It was there. I think the only reason I could not include it is because I did not watch that pay-per-view live. So I only watched it pieced together after the fact. So I completely applaud you for bringing that. If I would have watched it, I probably would have included it and had a top 5, and it would have been up there too. But yeah, and just all the pieces that are like now like social media gold off of that.
Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho asking for a replay. And then going into the booth with Aubrey Edwards, and she's going, "You're not supposed to be in here." Yes. And then he comes out, and the freaking mascot comes out, and he gives the Judas effect to the mascot.
Yeah.
And then the whole Hangman sitting at the bar. He chases Sammy Guevara off the field on a freaking horse.
Mm-hmm.
And then he parks the horse outside the bar. He's like, "Yes."
Yep.
And then Jake Hager comes around, and he's looking around. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He sees the horse, and he looks around. He's like, "Where did he go?" And then he sees the sign for the bar. He goes, "I know where he is."
Yep.
And he comes in, and he sits down next to Adam Page.
Mm-hmm.
And they drink. And Hangman goes, "So did you come here to drink, or did you come here to fight?" And then they have just this freaking barroom brawl.
Right.
And Hager like power bombs Page onto the pool table, and I'm like, "Ow!"
Yeah.
Like the balls were there still too, and I was like,
"Yeah, I didn't see this part."
And then Kenny comes in, and they dispose of Hager.
Mm-hmm.
Hangman goes to the other side of the bar, and he gets a drink. And he gets a little shot glass for him, and he gets a shot glass for Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
And those of us that know,
yep,
Kenny doesn't drink.
Nope, straight edge.
So he hands the bottle of alcohol to Kenny, and he pulls out a half a gallon of milk. And he pours Kenny some milk, and Hangman pours some of the alcohol.
Yeah.
And I guess some of the milk spills into the shot glass. And JR goes, "Well, I guess Hangman likes a little milk with his liquor." And then to top it off, the one-winged angel from like 20 feet high. I still think that the Inner Circle should have won that match. I think that could have been a great finish.
Yes.
But do it like they did with Shane McMahon and The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
Where The Miz actually hit the move, but Shane McMahon landed on top of him.
Yeah.
And that's how I think this should have ended.
Right.
Not with the one-winged angel.
Yeah, I'm just because they're essentially the face of the company, I'm always going to put the other group or the other faction over in a big war, because at this point, those in the elite, they don't need the push. They're already at the top. So unless it's part of the story being told when they all come together on stuff like this, they don't need that win.
Not only that, but the story being told through the whole match was Sammy Guevara kept just getting put out of commission somehow.
He's a
Like,
little guy.
they ran him off the field, number one, and then
Yep.
Nick Jackson did that rolling suplex
Yes.
all the way across the field. Uh, and then he gets up, he's like, I'm the only one left. And then here comes the golf cart.
Yes, yes. That is probably the gif of 2020. That has to be the golf cart and Sammy. Has to be.
It was just that whole match. I love the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, was there anything else that we're missing from?
Nope. Everything is blacked off except for number ones. And we already know who yours is. We already know who mine is.
You.
If anyone's listened, they know.
Right. Yeah. We already said. You already said your number one and number two were very, very close.
Yes.
My number one is the same as your number one, as Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the men's, I mean, you're
from North Carolina.
That's mine.
Yep. And mine, of course, Moxley. Yeah. PWI's Wrestler of the Year 2020, held the AEW World title for most of the year until Kenny Omega thieved it. I'm
upset that he didn't get a proper run with the crowd there.
Yeah, because like we have said, and you really made a good point too, that Moxley is so much better with the crowd because he's a crowd guy. He is a crowd favorite. And to all the wrestling events that I've been to, there's only a couple guys that get that pop that he does. And that's like Braun Strowman early on before he finally got this push and kind of came way too late.
Becky Lynch.
Yeah, Becky Lynch. She blows the roof off. And then another one that if you've never been to a live show, you may not know, Rusev.
Oh, yeah.
Back with like Rusev Day when him, Lana, and Aiden English. Oh my God. Like just whether it was.
We were at the same show and he wasn't even there and we were chanting Rusev.
Yes. Day. Yeah. So he's not even at the event. I cannot talk today. He's not even at the event. And we're chanting his name. He comes out all match long, Rusev Day. All match long.
I don't understand how they didn't capitalize it. I don't think they realize how much money they could have made on that.
Right. And then another one, like as I'm thinking about like one of the shows, Shinsuke. Another guy, like before they turned him heel,
I'm excited.
Blew the roof off.
He did a total babyface turn
last
week.
Yes.
So now we're sitting here at 10 o'clock now.
Yeah. Now we got to go watch SmackDown.
We got to go watch SmackDown. I'm excited to see. They might actually, instead of doing Kevin Owens against Roman,
I think it's well earned.
Shinsuke.
I'm perfectly fine with that. They're finally doing something right.
He was the last one in the match.
It's well earned. I think so. If they want to put next week Kevin Owens versus Shinsuke to determine who it's going to be, I'm perfectly fine with that too.
Or just put Shinsuke in it. I'm okay with just them putting Shinsuke in the title match. He went through that gauntlet. He beat everybody else.
Yep.
And then Roman came in and decided to mess with stuff.
Yes.
My son loves Shinsuke.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they turned him face.
yeah, and
Um,
he like I said, he's just one of those guys blows the roof off. Um, and this last guy I'll throw out there is Finn Balor. He's another one. I think that's more for the ladies. They love him when he leans back on the ropes. I know my wife and daughter love him, but I think that's maybe more for his looks
yeah,
than his wrestling ability. Like I respect him for. But yeah, like just some of these guys just completely blow the roof off, and they just cannot capitalize on it.
yeah.
I,
I don't understand how they couldn't capitalize on Rusev #1 and uh, Finn Finn Balor. Like he was the first ever Universal Champion, and now he's sitting in NXT.
yep, complete bullcrap.
And yet
If you
Seth
put,
Rollins is on Raw having a freaking 9 month feud with the
yep,
Mysterios
yep, you take Finn,
about
you
a
put him,
stupid eye.
yeah, you put Finn in AEW title picture. You put Finn in Impact, immediately you're heavyweight champion. You send him to New Japan again, title picture.
I would love to see him in as Prince Devitt in the Bullet Club again.
Yeah, I think that's where it's headed because he knows NXT's is the only spot he's getting the respect.
You know, if
It's going to
he's
be booked right.
yeah, if he stays in NXT, then I think he'll stay. But if they want to put him back on the main roster when crowds come back, then
Mm-hmm.
if I were him, I would leave.
Right. But I don't know how long he'd want to stay at NXT because it's kind of like a farming system. So how long does he want to stay? Does he want to become the old man there? Or does he want to go out somewhere and be the guy that he can be? Impact, New Japan, AEW, he can be one of those top 5 guys in your promotion, hands down, selling merchandise like no one's business.
I don't think in New Japan he could right now. I think maybe he could be uh, in their midweight division.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what title does Tanahashi have? I can't even remember right now. But it's basically it's the light heavyweight, the
Mm-hmm.
light heavyweight championship that Tanahashi has. I think that is his kind of peak right now.
Uh-huh.
He's not young.
Yeah.
He's kind of past his prime now, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is.
Shinsuke is just kind of happy to be there
He is.
because if you Google who is the greatest IWGP Intercontinental Champion in history,
Yep.
Shinsuke Nakamura pops up.
Yep.
Um, and then you thought that he was going to end up as WWE champion.
Nope.
Nope. He got fascinated with AJ Styles' nuts, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
you, you laugh, but that's true.
It is.
Absolutely the truth.
It's
so
WWE.
sad.
It's WWE booking. Oh, this is going to be funny. This is going to make us some money. This is going to make those marks laugh. All right. I think we've touched on every promotion that we wanted to recap on. We have gone through all of the awards. And as I had mentioned early on, if you want to reminisce in wrestling from 2020, you want to watch pretty much any AEW pay-per-view, you want to watch the G1 Climax and Wrestle Kingdom 14. Those all just amazing events from last year.
Right.
I've watched all but I think one AEW pay-per-view. I love them all. I've pieced together both Wrestle Kingdom 14 and the G1 Climax. I pieced together some of the matches, all great matches. So whether you piece it together or watch the whole thing through, you will greatly enjoy the matches. You
Yeah,
don't need to know stories, any of that stuff. This is great wrestling right now.
yeah. The G1 climax is kind of long. It's several events.
Yes, it is.
Um,
Day 2, day 5, day 7, day 13.
right. One of the big matches there was Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fought again at this year's Wrestle Kingdom. Um, Obviously, the one at Wrestle Kingdom this year was better than in the G1 Climax because obviously it would be. Why
Yeah,
save Why save your WrestleMania match, or why do your WrestleMania match for payback?
right.
But you put those two in the ring, and you're gonna have a heck of a match either way. It doesn't matter who, one of them, both of them. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
The same way with Bailey and Sasha. But essentially, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take both of our lists, kind of compile them together,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna put polls up on our Facebook group.
Yep.
Um, Whether it's within the group or not, I don't think it will be. I'll just put a bunch of um, those free polls up
Yeah.
and kind of go from there. And if you guys have different opinions than what we have, put it down in the comments. Either we're going to put this up on YouTube,
Yep.
or just go in our group and uh, on the posts that I do the polls. Tell us what you think.
Yep. Tell us we're wrong. Tell us we're right. We just want you to talk to us. That's all. We want to know what you guys are thinking.
That's our biggest goal for this
Yes.
year is to get everybody talking.
Yes.
Because as
Right
we
now,
said, it's the best time for wrestling in 20 years.
yeah, it's amazing. There's so much good. There's good shit going on. So
I
WWE's
almost wore that shirt today.
like WWE's got some good eggs there. They just gotta play them right. And New Japan's always entertaining. AEW's been fire. Impact is got a lot of potential right now. So wrestling is just really good right now. It's really good to be a wrestling fan. And we're in a nice stretch now. It's WrestleMania season, starting, I started at Survivor Series. That just starts piling up between Survivor Series and WrestleMania. You just good stuff going on between AEW, New Japan, AEW, or not AEW, Impact, and WWE, of course, and all their events.
Yeah, and then AEW's Double or Nothing and Revolution is coming up. NXT's got a takeover coming on
Mm-hmm.
February 14th. And then it all kind of culminates in May with Double or Nothing and Money in the Bank.
Yep.
That's another thing that happened during our time off.
What's that?
They gave the Money in the Bank back. They gave it back to the Miz. I'm not totally upset about this. I've always been a huge Miz fan.
Yeah. I think his character's kind of become stale, and I think it needs some kind of injection. So I have stated that he's a little overrated, but I think it's his character right now. I'm bored with it.
Mm-hmm.
I had stated this in a group chat with you
did.
and someone else, and after this was we were watching Raw at my house, and I had said
That's
something,
right.
and
You were
in
like,
our group,
watch.
yes, and in our group chat over the next couple days, someone's like, damn it, I can't get it out of my mind. It's going to happen. And when it happened, I got that SOB text. Like, you God. It was hilarious. Like, you knew it was going to happen.
I wish that they would have given it back to him a different way, like had a match for it.
Yeah.
Like, just put him, the Miz versus AJ Styles, and say, all right. Or even Otis, the Miz versus Otis, and go, all right, whoever wins this match, they get the Money in the Bank
Yes.
briefcase, and then Miz wins it back
Yeah.
because Otis is not going to go anywhere with the Money in the Bank.
No. When he cashed in, like I saw how separated they were in the ring. I knew that was the pitch on it. Like he cashed it in, you did not.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming, but like you just said, the giving it back to him just fell completely flat.
Lackluster, yeah.
Other than watching those two ding dongs dance down the steps, that was hilarious. That was gold. But other than that, like it told nothing. It just was like, oh yeah, here you go. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Any final words from you?
I've got nothing else. We've
All
got
right. Well,
our two pieces. You know what? I don't know how long this is because I don't have a timer or anything.
yeah.
But if we're able to get this all in one episode and it be under a specific amount of time,
Yep.
then we will. If not, then you guys will get a special 2-part episode.
Yeah, I think looking at the clock, it's gonna probably be pushing 3 hours. So
Yeah.
I think they're getting a two-parter. So all I gotta say is we're excited about the direction of Fifth Side of the Ring. We're excited to unveil our logo when we bring that together, identify the right one for us. We'll make we'll make a huge deal out of it.
Mm-hmm. I think
We're excited about.
I think we've got a goofy video coming out here pretty soon too. That our friend in that group chat that you're referring to, that
Yes.
specific Monday Night Raw that he's working on right now.
Yep, it's gonna be gold.
If that doesn't come out before this, then we'll certainly release that on the same day.
Yes. So
what we did, it was very difficult for us not
yes,
not to laugh while we were doing it.
Yes, it was all good fun. We just got a lot of really good stuff going on. Like I touched on the logo, we've got the podcast, new direction, new focus. We're kind of talking to Ricky Morton about doing a podcast with him. A couple other people I've been messaging with about doing potential podcasts. So we got a lot of good stuff going on. Really exciting time for us. And we're really happy to be doing this. It's a lot of fun to just sit down, chit chat, and we want that interaction with all of you. So please interact with us, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube channel, wherever.
TikTok, Reddit, whatever.
Yeah, just interact with us, communicate, tell us what you like, tell us where you think we're wrong. We don't care. And from this, we're going to do, I'm sure, many other spin-off little things that we'll do. Like I'm going to do something to show off some of my figures. As I get new ones, I'll do something to share that. This is just an opportunity for myself, Thomas the Professor, and Mean Regina to
you have so much trouble talking about whenever
I know. Well,
whenever you talk about her, I don't know what it is, but you just stutter through the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I keep seeing Mean Regina, and then I know she said, "You call me Mean Gina."
Right.
So like I panic, like, God, she's gonna hit me with a chair.
Anyways, like, you know what, Sledgehammer.
So the three of us use this as an outlet for our passion with pro wrestling. So we'll do some spin-offs, maybe do some short-lived stuff, but this here's just all in good fun, entertainment. We're entertaining ourselves, and we hope to be entertaining all of you as well.
Yeah, we're just here to have fun, and we hope that you guys are having fun with us.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that is all.
Yep, that was our main event for the evening. So.
Yep. Now it's time to go watch SmackDown. So hopefully we have a babyface Shinsuke, and they put a good show together tonight.
Right. All right. Make sure you guys pick up your trash along the way, and we'll see you next time on the Fifth Side of the Ring.
Absolutely. Peace.